Welcome to NFL News Update, where touchdowns meet headlines. Stay in the game with the freshest NFL updates. This is your quick dive into football fervor.
For the second consecutive year, Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni will be replacing both his offensive and defensive coordinators. OC Brian Johnson will not return to the Eagles in 2024. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reported on Tuesday, per a source informed of the decision. Philly previously fired defensive coordinator Sean Desai, who was relieved of play-calling duties midway through the season. Matt Patricia, who took over, is also expected to look for work outside of Philadelphia. Johnson joined the club as quarterbacks coach in 2021 when Sirianni took over. After 2 seasons tutoring Jalen Hurts, Johnson was elevated to offensive coordinator in 2023 after Shane Steichen took the Indianapolis Colts head coaching gig. Johnson has had head coaching interviews with the Atlanta Falcons and Tennessee Titans, who are planning to hire Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan during this offseason cycle. Despite some offensive inconsistencies, the Eagles rank 7th in points scored and 8th in yards gained in the NFL, down slightly from ranking 3rd in both categories in 2022. Perhaps it's unfair for Johnson to be pushed out after 1 season despite leading a top 10 offense, but the way Philly crashed at the end indicated changes were coming. The Eagles' offense couldn't seem to find a groove and often never looked like it knew what it wanted to be. The cavalcade of fruitless wide receiver screens also made fans and analysts alike regularly pull out their hair. Following last year's run to the Super Bowl, Sirianni had to replace Steichen and DC Jonathan Gannon, who both got head coaching gigs. A year later, both of his replacements are out. The head coach, who is slated to hold his end-of-season news conference on Wednesday, can't swing and miss again. The Kansas City Chiefs knocked off Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round, thwarting one dual-threat quarterback. Now they meet a batter boss in Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, ahead of Sunday's AFC Championship game. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid was asked if his club could take anything away from how it handled Allen when facing Jackson. "I would tell you, it's somewhat the same," he said on Monday, via the team's official transcript. "You have to stay in your lanes, you have to stay disciplined with any quarterback that runs. Lamar is special. He's fast and one of the faster guys on the field when it's all said and done, and he's shifty. Where Josh will go right through you, he doesn't care. He's a big man, and probably equally as fast. He's a fast kid, he's run away from secondary players, you've seen that on tape. This kid Jackson, he throws it well. He throws it on the move well. Runs the ball well, so we've just got to stay on top of that part of it throughout practice this week, and then during the game." Jackson led all quarterbacks with 821 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns in 2023. Showing more of a willingness to stick with the pass longer this season, it was the first time Jackson didn't break the 1,000-yard rushing barrier in a season he started more than 12 games. Allen, meanwhile, used his legs heavily in the red zone, generating 15 rushing TDs, tied for most among QBs, and finished 4th at the position with 524 rushing yards. In Sunday's divisional round win, the Chiefs allowed Allen to scamper for 72 yards on 12 attempts with 2 rushing scores, including 2 playoff tilts. KC's defense has allowed 439 yards and 6 rushing scores to quarterbacks in 18 games. Their season high came in a meaningless Week 18 when Easton Stick gobbled up 77 rushing yards. Before that contest, the Chiefs hadn't allowed 50 rushing yards in a game to a QB, holding Justin Fields to 47 yards in Week 3, Allen to 32 yards in Week 14, and Jalen Hurts to 29 yards, but 2 TDs in Week 11. Per Next Gen Stats, 39.6% of the Chiefs' rushing yards allowed to QBs and 33% of the TDs have come in the past 3 games. The key to slowing Jackson on Sunday will be avoiding the explosive plays when the play breaks down. Jackson led all QBs with 527 rushing yards on 75 scrambles in 2023 with 2 TDs, earning 7.0 yards per carry. On designed runs, Jackson generated 302 yards and 3 TDs on 63 totes, 4.8 yards per carry. Jackson's increased willingness to keep his eyes downfield this season has made the Ravens' offense exponentially more potent. With defenses fearing his legs, the QB is able to buy time and find big plays in the passing game. Then, when needed, Jackson can always speed past any defender.